All right, so we just painted the car. It looks fantastic, but the inside kind of looks like, yeah, and smells a little bit funky. So the first thing we gotta do is clean the interior, and then we're gonna add some finishing touches to the car to make it a one of a kind. Here we go. You ever hear the term more money than brains? We bought this car strictly for the engine. This engine is coming out and going in a Bronco. We've got our Holly that we're gonna throw on there. Yes, we've done a lot of work to our donor car, and you guys have mentioned that a bunch of times, but here's the thing. We're gonna be driving this year. We got a few more things to do to it. We're gonna put some stripes on it.
No, do not peel that off, please don't.
Then pass it off to Scott, who is putting a V10 Triton into it. And I didn't care about this car before, but kind of do now. All right, back on the Mustang. We got a call from Dave from Mobile Truck Cleaning, who actually details transport trucks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then you said, give me a dirty vehicle. And
Give me anything you got. The worst you have, I'll clean it up for you.
This thing's kind of gross. So if you ever watch old Top Gear where they buy used cars and then they bring them out to get like DNA tested, there's some pretty raunchy stuff that they find. And before we put anybody in the car, is like it needs a good cleaning. So top and bottom, you up for it?
Up for it. Give me a challenge.
Yeah, right on your Hamilton?
Yeah, Hamilton based.
Okay, and you mainly specialize in transport trucks? And...
I'll do anything with an interior.
Nice, right on. All right, well, we got some before shots, and then I'm sure the after shots will look much, much better. Here we go.
Okay, so this is a Chemical Guys fabric cleaner. I use a 20-to-1 in a sprayer. Spray it on, agitate with a brush, vacuum off with clean water in the extractor. Only use clean water so you don't leave any residue. And you'll have perfectly clean floor mats. Probably get it perfect, but it's ruined anyways. Not much of a point. It's a COVID survivor. I painted one car in my life, and I threw all the trim inside, and it never went back on. I like these products because they're easy to get, available Canadian Tire, inexpensive. This stuff smells great, it's not sticky, doesn't leave anything greasy. You can see it just looks new. This is great at cleaning your leather. This makes your leather just smell like brand new leather. And for a couple bucks, this cuts just about any grease out of any fabric.
All right, so we got our nice paint job on our freshly detailed car, and now we're gonna cover that nice paint job with some really nice stickers. You love racing stripes, don't you?
The one thing I hate doing the most with vinyl, absolutely the worst.
But see, we got Ian from Minerva to wrap the Audi. You did a great job with that, so he said, you know what? Now you got to do something you don't like. Not that the Audi was a really easy wrap, but
Not that it was easy, but it was like, it was an experience, right? I've
Yeah,
done
there you
racing
go.
stripes. This is just like the same old.
yeah, it's another Mustang with racing stripes. But you're gonna add your own little touch to it.
Yeah. So we're going with, okay, so because the hood has these massive louvers in it, we decided to just like go right across it with a satin metallic gray. And we're gonna do a little pinstripe of red going down the inside of it all the way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that'll look pretty good.
I'm excited to see what you can do, Ian. And yeah, if it's anything like the Audi, it's gonna look fantastic. All right, so yeah, we're running into issues here because actually looks really, really good. And I didn't care about this car before, but kind of do now. That turned out nice.
Yeah, no, the color choice, I think it's looking really good. I like your decision to go with the matte gray.
Yeah.
I think it really suits it.
Yeah, I think white stood out a bit much. I think it matches really, really nice. Unfortunately, the hood is really big because you don't want to run too close to the louvers, and then the way it runs up, it basically covers up the whole roof there. But
Yeah, because when we were talking about it, we were like trying to figure out, okay, should we run the stripe through the center of the louver? Nah, that'll look weird.
That'll look weird.
Learn on the outside, do we put these stripes on the outside, whatever? But no, I think it's good. They're 17 inches across the top, which is pretty big for stripes.
Yep.
I mean, most of the time it's about a
go
foot.
big or go home.
And then they taper down a little bit, just following the body line. But I think it looks really good.
We can actually drive this around Dunnville and not hang our head in shame. We might even leave Dunnville, yeah.
Do the trailer with the plexiglass on the side. This will be the nice one that you put up there.
No, like this one we can actually drive because it's got a decent engine.
okay.
And yeah, we're not trailering this. I think we're gonna do a little stripe along the side, yep.
Yeah, so there's still a little bit. We ran out of material today, unfortunately.
Okay.
But yeah, we can do a little stripe down the side. Same sort of idea, the gray, black, and then the red, just off the body line. And then a couple of sponsors running down here in gray as well.
And then we have to stop because otherwise it's a little bit too flash. It's already pretty flashy. So, and then the first thing we're gonna do, once we'll get it safetied, and then we'll get it on the road. We're gonna take it through the tunnel once. Just because we gotta, this exhaust is so obnoxious. Yeah, we need to do like a decibel reading like inside the tunnel there, and I bet you we're at like 120. Like this exhaust is like a 5-year-old playing a saxophone. It's like, it's really funny for about 10 seconds, and then you're like, please stop.
I showed up here when we were working the other day, and you were bringing it out of the trailer, just firing it up from the I jumped. It was so loud.
Yeah, it's not reasonable. So we'll go to Lyle's. I think we will throw some cats on it and some decent mufflers, and we'll take those off and put them on the Bronco. Something that's throaty when we step on it, but not too obnoxious that you can't drive it around town. Yeah, we'll do the stripes, and then I got to clean up the wiring, tuck that under the dash. We're waiting for a tail light because we're missing the one light, and then we can take it to get safety. Everything else is working, so actually it's going to be a pretty fun car just for a summer, and then we'll yank the guts out about this time next year.
So with vinyl, a very common thing that a lot of people ask for is racing stripes, and it's definitely something you can do by yourself. It's not, it's very cost effective. It's not that difficult. All you need is just a couple of tools to get it going. So I'll show you what I use. Tape is like a 1-inch roll of tape. It's perfect for getting, a good spread on your stripe, whatever you want, 1-2 inches. Tape it off, and then these are some more specialized tools. This is called knifeless tape. It's made by 3M. Basically what it is, you'll see in some of the other parts of the video, it's a very thin piece of tape with a filament on it that you pull. Once it's on the car, I'll show you really quick, and it'll rip the filament through and give you a really nice clean cut, because you don't obviously want to cut on your paint. Then you just have like your regular vinyl. This stuff you can buy, actually I'll show you this one first. This I actually got at Canadian Tire. It's 3M vinyl. What they do is they cut it in a 1/8 strip, and this is perfect for, as you can see, we did these the pin stripes on the stripes here. So it's perfect for doing that. It's not super flexible, so you can give it a little bit of a pull while you're putting it down and get nice straight lines. Super easy to do. The actual vinyl itself, there's multiple places. I'm in Toronto, so there's multiple places you can buy vinyl from. And you get Avery, 3M, Arlon, whatever brand you want, different colors obviously. I personally, as an installer, much prefer Avery. I think it's just kind of whichever one you used first, whichever the brand that kind of introduced you to vinyl was, that's the one you prefer. Like it's kind of like that with a lot of different things. But I really like Avery because it's super flexible, it's really malleable. So when you have something, I'll show you up here, when you have something like a curve on a body line, Avery just kind of like flexes in there a lot nicer than I find some of the other materials do. 3M is definitely like a house brand name that everybody knows. So there's nothing wrong with it. Like every product is amazing. They all have their benefits. They're all great products. When you try different ones, you'll see the benefits of some of them and what you kind of prefer in your application. But all vinyl, it's all gonna be great for your use, especially if you're doing something like racing stripes. This is a wrap glove. To be honest, they're really just regular non-scratching gloves. You can get it. Paint is Dead is the company that makes the ones that I use. But they're really helpful it just means that your hand can glide across the vinyl and won't stick. Another thing, before any of this, you want to clean the car, right? You want to make sure that there's no debris on it. So luckily I'm working on a car with a fresh paint job here. This Mustang was just painted, right? So the paint is very good. It's a good idea to clay bar your car first with soapy water and a clay bar, just to get any sort of, road freckles or anything off of it. And then after you're done that, use 70% isopropyl alcohol, 30% water, and that makes sure that all the grease, all the fingerprints, all that sort of stuff is off of it, and then you'll have a nice clean adhesion for the vinyl when you lay it. Second last thing, this is just a squeegee, so it's got a little felt buffer on it, so when you're actually putting it down on the car, you don't scratch the paint, and then you just need an X-Acto knife to cut the vinyl at your edges and whatnot. So yeah, it's super straightforward. I mean, like when you're doing stripes, they're straight edges, right? So if you can see, you just do your tape lines on the car, lay your knifeless tape, pull your knifeless tape, and then rip it off. It's not something that takes a huge amount of skill. It's time consuming, it's very time consuming. You gotta make sure that they're bang on perfectly straight, but it's definitely something like, do it yourself project. You wanna do it home on your own car, then that's perfect. Just definitely give it a shot if you can. Forgot to mention, so another really useful tool, heat gun. Like that'll make it so you can actually heat the vinyl, stretch it a little bit if you have a curve, especially if you're going over an indent, a body line. The heat gun will make the vinyl more flexible. And if you don't have one, I highly suggest getting it. It makes it a million times easier. A lot of people are like, well, can I just use a hairdryer for this? No, these things are temperature controlled so you don't burn the vinyl. Really important. Like this is a pretty cheap one. You just get it at Canadian Tire. But some of them you can set different temperature levels to it. But yeah, you don't want to burn the vinyl, and if you use a hairdryer, you definitely will burn the vinyl. I have used a hairdryer before while laying vinyl. It's in desperate situations. You can also use a torch, like a propane torch, but you have to be very careful with that. Because obviously open flame, you'll melt the vinyl right away. Let me fix this because I dropped it too low here. So as with the rest of the car, we're doing kind of like multiple stripes. We're doing a satin gray, then a satin black, and then a red pinstripe. So this is just another example of the knifeless tape. You can see behind here, I've done 2 lines of knifeless tape. How I actually measured this out is I ran a piece of 1-inch tape all the way down the length of the car, pulled it tight so it was nice, and so I knew that it was a straight edge, and then laid the knifeless tape on either side of the green tape. So with knifeless tape, because it's 1/8 of an inch thick with the filament down the center, you're gonna have a 1/16 of an inch overlap, right? All the way down. So you line up the top of your knifeless tape to the top edge of your vinyl, and then you know you're gonna have a little bit of overlap. Like there's multiple ways of doing it. You can either do a butt seam or you can have it with the overlap. It's much easier to do it with the overlap because the actual pieces of vinyl, one will be slightly on top of the other one. Only thing is then you have a ridge that runs down the length of it. So this is with the knifeless tape, but it kind of shows you you'll have like a raise, right, between the 2 levels of vinyl. So if you're okay with that, like it looks fine. It's such a small amount that you don't really notice it. But if you're butt seaming vinyl, it's a lot more precise. There's a way to do it with the knifeless tape where you have both pieces of vinyl laid down with one piece of knifeless tape underneath it, and then you have to pull that between the 2, and then both edges of the vinyl will be right up against each other as an actual butt seam. Only issue is sometimes the knifeless tape, the filament isn't perfectly down the center of the tape itself. If it's off to the side, you'll get like a little bit of a wave when you pull that filament through. And sometimes that doesn't look as good when you're doing a butt seam because you can very obviously see the wave as you look down the length of the tape. It also depends on what you're trying to do. Like racing stripes, you want it to be perfectly straight. Sometimes you have to relay it because the tape was a little bit wavy. So it's, like I said before, it's just a matter of taking your time, maybe doing it once or twice, but eventually you'll get it and it'll look good. Unlike that little wrinkle. It's kind of surprising actually how forgiving the vinyl is. A lot of people think, you know, you lay it on, you get one wrinkle in it and it's destroyed. It's not the case. Like I'll show you, just do a terrible crease in this. So you have like a nice big crease in it. You're like, oh great, I've just ruined the vinyl. It's not true. Like you have that crease, you heat it a little bit, and that indent is completely gone. It's basically back to fresh and new. So if you screw up on something, you can do it a whole bunch of times. You can redo it again and again and again until it's right because the vinyl is super forgiving. So if you do decide to do it and you do get a bit of a wrinkle, peel it back, give it a little bit of heat, give it another shot, and you'll eventually get it right. All right, so I'm just measuring out the pin striping here. Because it's such a small piece of vinyl, if you do pull on it too hard, it'll warp and you'll get like this weird bend in your strip of vinyl and you'll have to throw it out and get a new piece. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of tack it roughly on one side, right at the top edge of your vinyl. I'm doing it so it overlaps. So this is gonna be on top of the black vinyl as opposed to onto the actual blue paint itself. There, and then you're gonna wanna kind of line it up roughly with the top edge so you can start doing your marks. With pinstriping, you usually follow body lines, right? So this pinstripe, I did it 1 inch off of the body line right here, running down the whole length of the car. On this car, this is a straight edge, but some cars, this will kind of swoop up. So whatever body line you follow. So if you look down the length of the car, you can see you got your body line right there, right? So here it's nice and sharp, but as you get closer to the front, your body line kind of tapers out. Some cars have it where it just tapers out into like a nice smooth curve. So while you're laying your tape, you have to be very careful. I find it's easiest to get right up close to the car, look down the length, and then if you have like a bright light above you, it'll bounce off this face of the paint, not as much this one, and then you can find where your body line is, and then you have to just look down the edge, wiggle your tape up and down to make sure it's perfectly on. So we're gonna line up this one now, and we have a duck coming to help us. As you do.
I mean, how many DIY videos have a duck, eh?
Yeah.
Inspector.
She's actually like right up in the shot.
No attention whore.
No, do not peel that off, please don't. Oh, she's eyeing it. See, now you have no idea how I did it because there's a duck in the shot. No, I'm just playing. So yeah, so you just go down the length of the car and then like in little increments, maybe 6 inches, a foot, whatever amount, you just kind of tack it with your thumb and then you'll know that it's right on the edge of the vinyl that I'm lining it up with here. If you are doing off of a body line, I'd suggest taking a piece of tape instead of going straight to the pinstripe. Take a piece of tape, tack it on one side, go all the way to the other side. Actually, I'll just do it right now because this, when you pull on this tape, it's got a lot less flex to it. So you just want to kind of line it up roughly with your body line, tack one side, nice and tight. Keep it off the car, go all the way down to the other side. And if you give it a little bit of a pull and slowly push it in against the car, while making sure it's straight, that right there should be a pretty straight edge. Obviously, you'll want to do it a couple of times to make sure there are no waves in it. And if the car does have an concave at some point, you're gonna want to make sure that when you push it in, the tape doesn't flex up or down depending on how you're pushing it, right? So you just kind of gently tack it all the way down. Once it's all tacked, go back, put down the length of it, and then you'll know that that's a straight edge. And then from there, that's either where you can put your pinstripe, or if you're doing the rest of the stripe, you can put your knifeless tape along that edge, and then you'll know you'll have a nice straight, even edge across the whole panel. And then the last thing that you gotta do once you got this all tacked down, whoops, see, that wasn't tacked down, folks. Gotta redo that. So this is where, if that happens where it's not fully tacked down while you go to push it on, you can sometimes put a crease in the vinyl. And then depending on how bad that crease is, especially with pinstriping, you might just have to redo the stripe. So once I got this tacked down, then, you got your panels, right? You got your door panel to your fender to the back. You don't want to do those in individual things. You want the whole stripe to be the same. So you bridge that gap there. So there's a thing called windward side. So when you're cutting vinyl, while the car's moving forward, obviously the air going down the side, if you were to cut the vinyl on this side, towards the back of the car, then if there was a little bit of an edge there, the wind could grab that, or rain or snow or anything could grab that and start lifting it back, especially when you have something super small like a pinstripe. So what you do is you cut it on the windward side, so towards the front of the car. That way, when you cut it here, all right, you just very gently without touching the paint, cut it. Then you can roll this behind the panel, and now that's protected from all the debris that'll hit it, the rain, the wind, and then that'll have a less likely chance of it peeling up and ruining your pinstripe. Back here, this is a good example of it too. So on the door, again, you got your door jamb on the inside, you bridge that gap, cut it very gently, and then I'll open the door so you can actually see here. So after cutting it while the door's shut on the windward side, now you got this little tab, so you can just kind of push that around into the door jamb. Now I've already done it with the other two stripes. All three stripes were cut the same way on the windward side of the door edge, so they all make this nice clean edge right across. So that when you open your door, it's presentable, right? You want to have all your edges nice and clean.
All right, it looks fantastic, Ian. Yeah, and for some reason, it looks less purple now.
Yeah.
With the stripes, and it really looks blue now, inside and out. It's dark outside now, but
Yeah, you guys are mentioning a lot of people were saying it's purple. It's purple, but it's definitely blue.
Definitely blue.
Yeah.
And you say we, but this is all you. I like getting my hands involved and doing part of it, but I see you're kind of in the zone and you do your own thing. There's not a whole lot that I can do. Even the Audi, he came with your crew. It's like, yeah, you guys do your thing. It's like, I have nothing to offer for that. But
Yeah, it's kind of, a lot of it's kind of like a one-person sort of thing, especially when we're doing something like racing stripes. Super doable to do by yourself. Like, you don't need a whole bunch of other people. With the Audi, definitely helped that I had my people with me to make that happen.
Yeah, it's great because Ian likes doing the vehicles and that, but we're gonna maybe do something with some workbenches. We're building our own workbenches, and rather than just painting them red, maybe we'll vinyl wrap the doors and put something in there. We got the race trailer, lots more good stuff coming down the tube for vinyl wraps, because it's really like a whole other, it's evolved so much, even in the last 10 years.
Yeah, because you were saying that you did your the stripes on your C10 back in the day?
S10.
S10, your S10.
87 S10.
Yeah, and like just even from like, from then to now, the amount of technology that's gone into the vinyl, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's come a long way for sure. A lot of people think like, yeah, you can do it for race stripes, yeah, you can do it for race car livery, but there's so many applications for it.
Yeah.
Right, and it's fun. Like the Audi, still that was one of my favorite projects to do because it was so different,
Right.
even though it's on a car.
That's awesome. We gave Ian his favorite project and his least favorite project in the exact same shop within like a month.
you reeled me in with the Audi, and then you're like, but surprise,
We want racing stripes. Yeah. And all that.
I think they turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with them.
I'm really happy with it too. I think our wives will actually want to drive in this car with us. smoke coming out. I took it down the road. I didn't take it down the road. I took it down the driveway a couple times as hard as I could, but there's still a lot of oil in the engine from when I dumped the oil in there when I didn't want to wreck. As soon as we get some temporary plates for it, we can actually burn the last of that off and then replace the spark plugs one last time. So, and probably an oil change and some coolant flush, and I think there's a small coolant leak as well, but it never ends. All right, so that's basically the build for this thing. We might do something with the gauges yet, get some more of the gauges working, and just put a radio in it, and the exhaust. But she's basically ready to get sent off for safety, and then we'll do some driving videos of it. I think we have a line on a Bronco. We're waiting on paperwork to make sure it is down south. So then we can't drive there, but we are still able to fly and drive it back. So we might do that this summer if everything lines up. But we've been actively searching for a Bronco, and we just figured out how much it costs to insure this for the year. And it's very encouraging to go buy a Bronco. Now, for projects coming up in the new year, my Silverado's hurting a little bit, so I need to get a truck finished. So we're hopping on the F350. I need to get that done for spring, so we're gonna push hard on that one. But before we do any other projects, I just have a little bit to do to GTO to finish it up. And also some leaks on the Mercedes LS wagon that I have to take care of. So really, I want it to be the year of finishing everything. It's really nice coming into the shop and being able to turn the key and fire everything up. Right now, the Audi, the C10, the GTO, the Mustang, and the F350 all run. Only 3 of them move, but they all run, which is very good for my headspace because it's very overwhelming having all this stuff kind of half finished. We're gonna try and streamline the videos a little better, get a good series of videos together and not spread it out over the 3-4 years. Realistically, that's how long it takes to get projects started, finished, paid for, and on the road. We've got some in the works. We've got shops lined up that are going to do some work for us in the summer that we have to book like 4 or 5 months in advance because they're busy. So some really exciting, cool stuff coming up. We're just going to finish up some old stuff and then jump right into the F350. So thanks for watching, guys. I put an Instagram post out. What's your favorite project with all of them in the shop, and quite a few of you guys actually said the Mustang. So I got to admit, it turned out really, really good for a donor car. It's really, really good. Scott seen it yesterday. He was really happy with it, so I think he's the winner in this deal. But we're gonna have lots more with Scott as well. The entire Audi build is coming up real soon. And we'll keep working on that. That one still needs some small stuff here and there, some window glass and stuff figured out, the scoop done better. And then, yeah. Remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich. Get out there and look out for those deals. You never know what you're gonna get. You're gonna take a chance. You win some, you lose some. But really plan your projects out, and it is really, really cool to have them finished and driving down the road. Here we go.